The Spanish announce table.
You have found pro wrestling's best podcast with Tim and Tom here on the Spanish announce table, and we had a blast watching some wrestling this week, and we're going to talk about it, man, but we want to talk to you about it, so we encourage you, if you are watching this live with us on the YouTube live stream, oh, listen to that. Forgot to turn my phone down.
No, keep it going. Yeah.
Yes, quality control. If you're watching live on the YouTube stream, join us in the chat, talk to us, join the Table Nation, tell us what you thought about whatever we're talking about. There is a bit of a delay, so bear with us. We do this live Thursday nights on YouTube. If you're listening back on the podcast and you want to join that live stream, precisely exactly on the dot 7:30. Look at that, 7:30, right? Not 7:15-ish. But Tom, how's things going?
Dude, it's fucking great. I tell you what. I just love this time of the year. You got all the fun things happen. Some people call it the dog days of summer. To those people, I say, get fucked. Yeah, it's so much fucking fun. Yeah, we've got all the fun happening right now. It is so just a great old time. This is all the fun.
It's a great time. Here. Yeah, you can also have a great fun time. Talk to us on Twitter using hashtag #TweetTheTable. We'll read some of those on the show tonight, folks who used hashtag #TweetTheTable throughout the week to talk about wrestling. But there's a fun new social media coming around, right, Tom?
Well, hold on. Is it fun? We'll find out. Is it not owned by Elon Musk?
Yeah.
Yes.
We're going to talk about that later. I forgot. Yes. I'm checking my notes here. We are going to talk about that later. But talk to us on Twitter. Talk to us on a new social media that we'll talk about later. We're on the TikTok, the YouTube here. All of those things. We're also, you can catch us sometimes on Twitch, twitch.tv/Spanish Announce Table. And why am I bringing that up, Tom? Because I've been playing some Fight Forever. Yeah.
So, full transparency, I don't know how to do what Tim's doing on a PS5. Maybe I need some, wires and faders.
Yeah, we got to look it up and figure it out. I'm sure it's in there somewhere. Yep.
We'll figure it out. However, Tim's got it all figured out. And Tim, last time we checked in, you had not played AEW Fight Forever yet, but now you have. Obviously, we got the proof in the YouTube and Twitch videos and all other social media. So I want two things from you here, Tim. One, what was your out-of-the-box impression of Fight Forever after like one or two times playing, right? And then, as of right now, July 6th, at 7:32 in the One True time zone, what is your impression, or has it changed since then?
Yeah, I like the game a lot, right? Very easy to start playing out of the box and get the hang of the very basics, quick and easy, and you're not like just getting your ever-loving ass kicked right away, right? But then as you start getting, you're like, okay, bump this up to hard, right? Like that kind of thing. Like just start practicing some other things. Like, okay, let me try a lights out now or a whatever, right? So really dug into those. And then I did my first story. I will say this. I wish there was more to the stories, right?
Yes, I would agree. However, I'm going through it now a second time with a female. So the first time I went through it, went with Hangman, cowboy shit.
I did Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, second time through, I'm going with Chris Statlander, your favorite alien.
I'm doing Christian Cage on my second one.
And it's a tad different. Like, for example, there is hey, will you fight the guy because I'm hurt? And it's like a female's fighting a guy. Yeah. This is like, so there's a tad different, but I will agree with you in the sense of like, if you go to work out, it's the same. If it's intense, it's bench press.
Yeah, I'm skipping through all that stuff. I'm like, and that bothers me. Like, let's say I play Madden a lot. I like to I want to map out the game planning and the whatever, but it becomes so repetitive and you're just doing the same thing. And I'm like, I'm good enough. I don't need it. Just, let sim that, you know what I mean? Destroy folks anyway, putting 60 up on you anyhow.
Yeah. So I would say there's a little bit of, desire to have a little bit more, variety. However, there is some fun things in there. Like I sent you a screenshot of, I believe it was Bryan Danielson saying Dwayne might get mad about this.
Yeah.
Referring to The Rock.
Yeah.
So there is some fun little dialogue.
There's fun
in there.
stuff. Yeah. I met Brody Lee.
Yeah, I've just met Brody Lee. Yeah. I got asked if I wanted to do the Dark Order.
Yep. I beat CM Punk in his first match on Collision.
Yeah. So wasn't that great?
So
Rampage.
Fun.
It was Rampage.
Excuse me. Rampage.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was fun. What what I was going to ask then is, so other match types, the exploding barbed wire death match. What do you
Haven't
feel
got
about
to
that?
that. I've done the casino battle royal, but that's where I think I'm going to venture into next, right? Do the exploding barbed wire death match. Yeah. I need to get a little bit better in the multi-man things because those get to be a mess and it's hard to like. It's it's a little difficult to like make sense of what's going on, and you can't stand up. Like you just can't get your wits about you before somebody else is walloping you. It's taking some getting used to. I haven't played wrestling games in forever. Like I really just was like, I remember when we were doing the up down things with the Nintendo 64 tournaments with the local wrestling federation here. I was like, that's all you, because I hadn't played a wrestling game in like a decade. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here.
So, I will say with the multi-man thing, the one thing that is fucking aggravating and we need to figure it out is, for example, I was Powerhouse Hobbs in a casino battle royal right before we went live, right? His signature move is you grapple and then you do signature. He pushes the wrestler away, then tells him to come in and then does a spine buster. That's fun. However, when you push him away, someone can grab that guy, and now you're fucking. You're like, no, I want to do my move.
That's kind of real. Yeah, but like,
I wouldn't always push him. Like, just do the spine
just
buster.
Do the
you
thing.
know what I mean?
Yeah, yes, there's some things in the game where I'm kind of like, this could be a little better. There's a little bit of a glitch that I've discovered where, like, on the lower part of the body when they're on the ground, you could just do the grapple thing just over and over and over again in a cycle if you time it right. Right. So like where it just never stops. I'm just like, bap, bap, bap. So like, I have to be like, all right, I can't do that. Right. You know, like there's a little bit of a glitch there, but I mean, again, I think the gameplay is fun, especially for that, where it's just, let's get in and mix it up. Right. And so I started doing that where I was like, hey, I've got this OBS. We live stream. I was like, I'll just record some of these and put them up later. And then I realized, no, this is a gaming computer I bought to do the live streaming here. It comes with a built-in function where I just press a certain keystroke and a thing comes up and it's like, yeah, you want to live stream? You want to record? What do you want to do here? And I'm just like, record. And I send it out to Twitch. So again, we're on twitch.tv/Spanish Announce Table. So it might be on there. Let us know if there's something you want to see get done on there. And I can't always promise you, like, I know a lot of the gaming, they've got their little face going on down there. I can't always do that, right? Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. And, see you when I see you.
We'll figure it out.
But other times I'm just playing. So I was like, hey, I'm playing. So if some people want to watch it, fucking great. If not, I don't give a shit.
PS5 Titan T-Mac, if you wanna tussle. By the way, speaking of new additions to the game, I sent you the trailer. They're going to have the Stadium Stampede, up to 30 fucking wrestlers.
So excited.
There's Adam Page on a horse in one of the videos.
We could do a Table Nation. But we can't. There's not cross-functional. That's what we determined right now. Yeah, that's coming later. They said, shout out to Jeffrey Sills in the chat. Like we said, we want to talk to you. We want you to be our wrestling friend. He says, shout out to the best duo since Dusty and Sapphire was rocking the polka dots.
I'm definitely Sapphire.
He said, you guys aren't on Threads, and just stay tuned. Jeffrey Sills. He says, this game is still fun AF. That's for the kids. The kids know what that means. And he says, I started it on hard. Real gamers put the game on all Madden from the jump. Like I said, I wasn't a real gamer. I was like, man, I don't play these wrestling games at all. I didn't even look at that. I was just like, it says normal. I'm like, we're just rolling with that, right? And then I was like, okay, I get the feel of this. They're hanging out too long, right? I was like, I got to bump it up to the next thing. And I saw hard, and I was like, all right. I started getting used to that, and I was like, hard. They should have called it elite. And then I went and looked, and I was like, oh, the next level is elite, right? So pretty soon here, I'll be making that jump. I don't get to play a whole lot. I mean, I might get 30 minutes at a jump at the time to play.
That's why I got to figure this out, because I get it. I got some time.
Yeah, no, we will definitely, we will. I'll work with you, Tom, and we'll figure out a way. You can do it using OBS. I can tell you that right now. If you've got the OBS on your computer, I'll show you how to do it. And we can get you going. You could dual stream if you wanted to. You could be going on the YouTube. You could be going on the Twitch. You could be going on the Facebook. All the social medias.
We're going to have a not safe for work if I do this shit, because I cuss every fucking time. I make up cuss words.
Yeah.
There's some cuss words where my wife is like, what'd you say? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm blacked out.
Yeah.
I'm playing. Fuck them.
Yeah. And listen, my family is like, they would be fine hearing me playing and cussing, but often it's like somebody sleeping or there's something going on and I can't really be interrupting, or I just can't be gone. So when I play, it's usually late at night, and things aren't, I can't do that. But Tom has more leeway in his house at all hours of the day to be like, this piece of monkey fucker, right? And just like throw a controller. So yes, if we can get Tom going live and he's got his camera on, this will be some of the best entertainment you've ever seen. And once in a while, I'll be able to do that, right? I'll have some time where I can turn on the bright lights that you see here and show you my beautiful face. And then for all of this, all we ask is that you just, you like some videos, you subscribe, right, to some channels, you maybe give us some donations, or you go to Pro Wrestling Tees /Spanish Announce Table and you buy our shirt, $20. Yep. Man, donate, buy a shirt, do something, help us out, right? Keep this thing going for free. All this great content, including all the great content at SpanishAnnounceTable.net, which is powered by Substack. So you get all kinds of great articles, right? Tom gives you a match of the day. I give you some pro wrestling's news, right? The top news items of the day. We give you a little bit of what happened on this day. More on that later in the show here. But man, I'm having a blast with the Fight Forever. I'm having fun. Watches on Twitch, man. Yeah.
Well, and to, segue into the next topic that we have up on the docket, as Jeffrey Sills asked, are you guys threading it? Hell yeah, we're threading it. Now, yes. I'm going to tell you complete transparency. I'm personally not on the Spanish Announce Table. I haven't logged in yet. It's all Tim. Tim's doing it. I got my own thread if you want to thread it with me, but I'm obviously sharing Spanish Announce Table.
Yeah, we'll share those credentials. We always share the credentials from
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, you got both of us in there. We're jiving.
Yeah, I don't even have my personal up and running yet. I've got to do that. Actually, I need to let me make a note. Look at that live shopping.
So we got all the fun stuff. And I tell you what, look, you can't stop bigots. You can't stop hate. You can't stop trolls. So is Thread now the best?
Before you move on, though, I want to say you're correct, but I still encourage you, if you feel free, to punch a Nazi. So, I still encourage you to do that.
Yeah, but what I was going to say is, as far as a social media platform, right now, Thread is so much fun. It is so much. We're all done to the honeymoon. We're, having day sex. We're all into it. We're having that fun. Eventually, we're going to be sleeping in separate houses, right? Like, we're going to hate each other in due time. But for right now, woo, you know what I mean? We're just having that good old time.
I'm going to make this episode titled Day Sex. Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah, Day Sex is amazing. Yeah, you're all like, oh, this is great. Look at all the light, right? Like, everything is great. Look, we should be doing things. We should be productive right now. It's the daytime, but instead we're having the sex. And then you go out at night, you're just in a club and people are putting fingers in holes they don't know about. And we're just all, loving it. Bunch of liquids going everywhere. We don't know what it is, but we're having it. Yeah, right. I mean? Playing a game. Woo, what was that joke Dan Cook said? He said, we're going to play a little game called Who's in My Mouth?
Yeah. You know what I mean? Just, we're having that kind of time. But get in quick because, the shit's rolling downhill quickly. So
the longer you wait in those waters, the more murky they can get. Yes. Where were we going? Threads. We're on Threads. Kind of forgot what I was talking about. I was having flashbacks. All right, Threads. God damn, man. Military days. No, all right. Anyway, Threads. Go ahead.
One thing you asked that I still haven't figured out, and hashtag tweet table about Threads. I don't know if hashtags are a thing. Are hashtags a thing in Threads?
So listen, people have been discussing like Twitter is dying. It's never, look, let's all be real with each other. There's nothing, especially with whomever's in charge there, right? Whatever you may think about them. There's nothing that's going to happen that's going to take Twitter back to like its height of popularity and usage and relevancy, right? The thing that sucks for wrestling fans is Twitter's structure in its flow and its conversational format is the perfect structure for like live watching a thing and having an open conversation about it. I always equated it to like we're all standing around at a party and mingling, right? Everybody's talking, but you can go over here and listen in on this conversation and chime in, or you can go over here, right? And it's quick little like, oh, did you see that? Holy shit, bam, he fucking hit him in the face. Hashtag this thing that we're all watching, right? Very easy. Not really replicated very well on like a Facebook or an Instagram or even a TikTok, right? Anything really. So there'd been no viable alternative, right? People were like, this new thing's coming out. It was Buzzsprout or whatever the fuck, like all these things. And nothing really stuck. When I heard Instagram is coming out with the Twitter thing, I was like, uh-oh. Right now there's some money and some R&D behind this thing. This isn't a startup. And boy, man, I said they're going to get sued pretty quick here because this is a pretty near identical operation going on here, right? It flows the same way. It operates in largely the same way. There are a few differences here and there, but so we're there. We appreciate it now, like Tom said. So if you're all looking for a place to make the jump and get off the dying boat that is Twitter, come hang out with us there. Now, we will put this out to the Table Nation. We're looking for, Jeffrey Sills in the chat says Twitter is dead. We're looking for an alternative to a very integral portion of this show that we call hashtag Tweet the Table on Twitter. And we have some of those that we're going to read today, where on Twitter you can go use hashtag Tweet the Table, and we'll read whatever you talked about in wrestling when you used hashtag Tweet the Table right here on the show. Well, we're not going to hashtag Tweet the Table on Threads, right? Is hashtags a thing? Obviously, I mean, you can put in a hashtag, and I'm sure I could run a search for things that have that hashtag, but if that's the thing...
community tag. It's not a community tag where I can click on that word and then see the rest of the stuff.
So what sort of tag, what sort of thing what unique thing could we put in that's short that you all could put into your threads? And we could then say, look, Jeffrey Sills put in star X9, fuck me in the ass, and whatever we determined it was, right? I think it'll be a little bit different than that, right? I think we'll shorten it, right? You have to shorten it a little bit. But especially when you're... Anyway, yeah, whatever the little tag is, right? And did we tell you this show was not safe for work or not really safe for anything? I don't know if we discussed that earlier.
We ain't safe for much. I'll tell you that much.
So, yeah, what would we do on the threads? But join us there now. It is at Spanish Announce Podcast, which is our Instagram handle. If you also follow us on there, we post reels there of the news there. If you're an Instagram person, we are on the Facebook. We post some things there. If you're still hanging out there, the Twitter, we mentioned the TikTok, the YouTubes, the threads. But yeah, I'll get my personal thread going. Tom's got his already. So join us, follow us, have fun, hang out.
Have fun. Speaking of fun, the opposite of that is WWE.
Oh,
Tim.
Yeah.
And we got some hashtag Tweet the Tables as we get it. Oh, no, excuse me. I am out of order. I am fucking out of order.
I mean, we can do that too. We could do WWE.
No, out of order. No. Before we talk about now, we got to get in the time machine. We got to go way back.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that, Tom. Because, yeah, we're going to talk about what happened in the near present, right? The just very recent past. But sometimes we like to make sure that we take a solid look back into the past, right? And get a good grasp of what's happened in the past so that we have a good foundation with which to critique and judge the professional wrestling industry as we move forward, right? And so we like to do that in our Spanish Announce time machine, right? We like to go see it firsthand, and we go... yeah, we go. Sorry, I worked that one up today. We go, so we can see what happened in pro wrestling history. Yeah. I was looking, I was like, let me see, find a clock that's running backwards. All right. It doesn't even have to be running backwards. I can turn it back. All right. Let's go find out, Tom. We have a new week coming up, and we like to educate you, if you're watching us live, on some things that happen so that you can tell your friends, right? That you can be the cool person with the pro wrestling factoid of the day. And if you don't catch it live, you can catch it throughout the week as we'll post them on social media on their appropriate day. Tom, are you ready to go? With that song to keep going, I should leave the song going on. I looked on the song on the official video. I was like, is there anything funny that happens? And yes, but it's only funny because it's like 80s weird. And I was like, I don't know, that's going to look weird here, right? I was like, now I got to make a graphic for this fucking thing so we can go see what happened in pro wrestling history. Tom, July 10th, 1988.
Okay.
You were a young Thomas, right? A young TJ.
Yep.
The Great American Bash was held in Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay.
Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard retained the NWA World Tag Team Championships after wrestling to a 20-minute time limit draw against Nikita Koloff and Sting. Bobby Eaton and Stan Lane, the Midnight Express, defeated Bobby Fulton and Tommy Rogers, the Fantastics.
The Fantastics.
To win the NWA United States Tag Team Championships, while Jim Cornette was suspended above the ring in a cage, right?
Oh, okay. Yep. I was thinking the scaffolding, but that was with
good
Legion
80s stuff. Good 80s stuff, right? Animal, Hawk. Which one? Well, that was Hawk. Ron Garvin, Jimmy Garvin, and Steve Williams defeated Al Perez, Ivan Koloff, Kevin Sullivan, Mike Rotunda, and the Russian Assassin in a Tower of Doom cage match.
Okay.
Barry Windham retained the NWA United States Championship in a match against Dusty Rhodes. Ric Flair retained the NWA World Heavyweight Championship in a match against Lex Luger after what controversial finish? Yeah,
I mean, like, I don't know how to say it like how they said it, but I'm thinking like a screwy referee stop it, like a disqualification, you stop it, or
sort of,
whatever,
yeah,
you know.
you're almost there. Yeah, so Luger had Flair up in his torture rack, right? He's got that he's racking it, right? Full of torture, right? Extra torture in the rack, but a representative, this is great, you know about this, of the Maryland Athletic Commission stepped in to stop the bout due to profuse blood loss by Luger and awarded the win to Flair.
Lame. Was
the
that
commission?
Legit? But do you think that was legit?
No,
Maybe.
I didn't go. That's what I didn't have time to go. Let me fix my little camera here as we're doing this live. I didn't have time to go look and see if that was like all gimmicked up or if that was like a thing and they ran with it or whatever. I'm sure it was gimmicked up. I didn't know like what the storyline was after that, but yeah.
All right. Well, Lex Luger coming up short.
Get on the threads and hashtag, star back, up, down, ass fucker, or whatever we said it was, right? And let us know what the answer is. Yeah.
Hashtag day sex.
Hashtag day sex. Yes.
Yeah.
We could start that. I think I'm down for that. Hashtag day sex. Yeah.
It's easy to type, you know what I mean?
Listen, I'm going to have to filter through a few pictures, right, once in a while to make sure we get appropriate stuff for the show. But, once in a while, it's like they're wrestling.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not right there wrestling in this video.
It's an enjoyable reference.
Clearly wrestling, right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Let's go a little bit and see what happened. Like that. July 11th, 2010.
Yeah.
TNA Victory Road was held in Orlando, Florida. Doug Williams retained the X Division Championship over Brian Kendrick in an Ultimate X match. Hernandez defeated Matt Morgan in a steel cage match. Love that Matt Morgan guy, right?
I hate all of this.
Jay Lethal defeated Ric Flair via submission. Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, the Motor City Machine Guns, defeated James Storm and Robert Roode, Beer Money, to win the vacant TNA World Tag Team Championships.
Ooh, okay.
Rob Van Dam retained the TNA World Heavyweight Championship in a four-way match against Abyss, Jeff Hardy, and Mr. Anderson.
Yeah, I almost said Kennedy, too.
And Angelina Love saved her career, Tom, while simultaneously winning the TNA Knockouts Championship when she won a career versus title match against which wrestler?
The only one that I can think of that is like the face of that division and really the start of the revolution, in my opinion, Gail Kim.
Close.
What?
Nope, it's not Gail Kim.
Is it Velvet Sky?
It's not Velvet Sky. It's your favorite.
It's not Jeff Jarrett.
It's not Jeff Jarrett. No. No.
Oh, it's a Madison Rain.
It's Madison Rain. Yes. Like, man, as we're looking up Jeff Jarrett things, we might as well check in on Madison Rain and see what's going on.
Yeah, good old foot face. See how she's doing, huh?
Foot face.
She got a foot for a face.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Jeffrey Sills in the chat says, I randomly find myself singing on this day. I like that. On this day. Maybe now also it'll be.
I gotta know what that song is too. Is that what it's called?
Huey Lewis in the News. I don't know if it's called Back in Time or if it's another song, but remember, I think they used it in Back to the Future, maybe? We don't fact check here, right? But we don't fact check. We urge people to fact check in their daily lives. We think it's very we think it's important for you. It's exhausting for us for this show, right? And it's a show, right? So we're not going to fact check on the show, right?
It's
fact
pro
check
wrestling.
For us,
yeah,
and you
it's
use
pro wrestling.
The hashtag #DaySex on Threads.
Yeah. Yeah. You think we're really going to take this serious when we've got undead wizards and brothers that are coming out of fires wearing fucking masks? Like, come on.
We have a Luchacanosaurus.
Yeah, we got a goddamn dinosaur as a champion. Like, we're not taking it serious. So shut up a little bit.
Yeah, shut up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You had a little more day sex, you wouldn't be this way, right? That's all we're saying.
That's all we're saying.
All right, let's hop back in the time machine and go and see what happened. On this day, July 12th, 2016.
Okay.
TNA Impact Destination X was held in Orlando, Florida. DJ Z defeated Andrew Everett. Braxton Sutter, whatever that is, Mandrews, Rockstar Spud, and Trevor Lee in a ladder match to determine the #1 contender for the X Division Championship. Sienna retained the TNA Impact Knockouts Championship in a 4-way match against Gail Kim, Jade, and Marty Bell.
Hey! Marty Bell. Love Marty Bell.
Drew Galloway and Ethan Carter III's unsanctioned match resulted in a no contest draw. I don't get that one.
What?
Apparently they had to pull them apart, but I don't get why you had to pull them apart. It was an unsanctioned fight.
God, sometimes wrestling just gets in their way.
Remember we used to say TNA was the type of company that would finger paint the house?
Yep.
Yeah, that's exactly kind of.
Right there.
Right there. Right there. All right. The main event saw a title versus title match pitting TNA X Division champion Eddie Edwards against TNA World Heavyweight champion Bobby Lashley end in a no contest draw when Mike Bennett interrupted the match to debut a man that would proceed to destroy Lashley, Edwards, and Davey Richards. Tom, who was that man?
Fuck, I don't know.
Important deal. Important deal over there in Impact.
You motherfucker. It's Jeff Jarrett.
No, it's not Jeff Jarrett. No.
You're
always like, oh my God, it's Jeff Jarrett. No.
PTSD with Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, that would be fun if Mike Bennett's like, I'm going to bring in the equalizer. It's Jeff Jarrett.
Jeff Jarrett with
beats up all three guys.
Okay, so he brings in an equalizer. Is it Abyss?
No, not Abyss.
Who is it? I don't know.
It is Moose. It was the debut of Moose.
Wow. I didn't realize he's been with TNA that long.
Yeah, right.
2016.
Yeah, and now he signed like a 7-year deal, I think, something like that recently. Yeah.
Wow.
Which was in the news, by the way. Sign up on SpanishAnnounceTable.net, completely free. Or just subscribe to the podcast. You get the news there daily as well. Yeah.
Moose.
Moose. He's an intense dude.
He's been at it for a while.
Yeah, right.
I like it. All right. Okay.
Let's go. See what happened. July 13th, 1997.
We're getting good here.
WCW Bash at the Beach was held in Daytona Beach, Florida. Chris Jericho retained the Cruiserweight Championship in a match against Ultimo Dragon. Good days. I remember these. The Steiner brothers defeated Masa Chono and the Great Muta. Randy Savage and Scott Hall defeated Kurt Hennig and Diamond Dallas Page. Felt like an odd grouping.
That was when he was a good guy before he
right.
joined and then joined the NWO.
Right. Roddy Piper defeated Ric Flair via a sleeper hold.
Good job.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Lex Luger and the Giant defeated Hulk Hogan and Dennis Rodman in the main event.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And Steve Mongo McMichael, with his wife Deborah McMichael ringside, lost his chance at winning the United States Championship in a match against which wrestler?
You're a piece of shit. Goddamn Jeff Jarrett comes again.
Jeff Jarrett keeping a tight grip on that WCW United States title.
Oh man. That was like prime Jeff Jarrett when it was him, Mongo, and Deborah, and the Four Horsemen. And is he a horseman? Is he not a horseman? Mongo doesn't think he should, but he thinks he should. The height of Jeff
Jarrett right there.
Just trying to be Ric Flair, but
all the day sex for Jeff Jarrett.
All the day sex.
All the day sex.
Yeah.
Jeff Jarrett feels like a guy who's always after some day sex. I'll tell you that. Like he's always...
Jeff Jarrett feels like a guy who's afraid of day sex. Like he feels like a guy that you got to schedule time with. Like, God, wait a minute, let me get pumped up for this one here. I don't know, this is spontaneous. What the hell are we doing here?
All right.
No, Sting's about that Scorpion Deathlock right in the morning. You know what I mean? What? Huh? What? What up? Got you.
Just whips up a Scorpion Deathlock in the morning. And just tap, tap, tap. Fucking tap. All right.
Some eggs and some scorpion. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Hurry the tap. I gotta get the fucking kids to private school. All right.
Oh no. It's not that guy. It's not an it's a Scorpion Deathlock. You know what I mean? It's not a sharpshooter. We're not killing people.
That's true. Yeah, we're not angry with it. Like Bret
Hart. Goldberg. I bet you he says that during sex, don't you? He just randomly Goldberg.
God, I hope not. That'd be weird. That would be weird.
He's obsessed with him.
Yeah. He probably says his own name during sex.
Well, it feels like Bret Hart will always be obsessed with someone. So for the longest time, obviously it was Shawn Michaels, but then they buried the hatchet. And then I think it's in poor taste for him to still hold on to that grudge. So that's when he's pivot to Goldberg. If Goldberg like saves kids from a fire or something like that, like Bret Hart won't know what to do with himself. He'll be like, Triple H, or like he'll just fucking say someone's name and hate that person for whatever reason.
Here's the thing, man. Like Vince McMahon is right there. Just hate on that guy, right? Like,
yeah, I've never understood when it was like the guy who said, "I don't want to pay your contract. Go to WCW." You're like, no, that guy's fine. He's fine.
He did everything he could.
Yeah, fuck out of here. Just say Vince all the time. God damn.
Yeah, just fucking.
Anyhow, Bret Hart sucks. What are we talking about?
One last one we got, and we'll see what happens. July 14th. 2013, WWE Money in the Bank was held in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The Shield members Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins retained the WWE Tag Team Championships over the Usos. Curtis Axel with Paul Heyman ringside defeated The Miz to retain the Intercontinental Championship.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
AJ Lee with Big E Langston ringside defeated Caitlyn to retain the WWE Divas Championship. Alberto Del Rio defeated Dolph Ziggler via disqualification to retain the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yep.
Randy Orton defeated Christian, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, Rob Van Dam, and Sheamus to win the Money in the Bank contract for the WWE Championship. And which wrestler defeated Antonio Cesaro, Cody Rhodes, Dean Ambrose, Fandango, Jack Swagger, and Wade Barrett to win the Money in the Bank contract for the World Heavyweight Championship?
Yeah. This is the best Money in the Bank briefcase of all time. It was leather bound. It looked nice. Okay. Damien Sandow.
Fucking Damien Sandow. God damn it. I was so marked out. They had me. I thought he was fucking winning it. I thought they were going to do it, and they fucking pulled up lame. Was he the first one to not do, or was he like second, I think, to like unsuccessfully?
Yeah. I think
it was one of the early. It was one of the early ones. Yeah, I think it was Cena.
Cena was first. Is like, okay, it's okay if anyone does it. And then it was him, and then it was Baron Corbin. I think those are the only three. I guess Austin Theory.
I thought it was happening. I was fucking marking out fucking
Well, and I
all
remember
caps
because
texting you.
yeah, that was the thing is you texted me, he's cashing in. And I was at, I don't know, Target or something like that. And I was like, man, Tim is loving this shit. And then he lost it.
We have a masked Mauler in the chat here. Says, whatever happened to Axel? I don't know whatever happened to Curtis Axel, excuse me.
I think, isn't he just training? I think he's just training wrestlers.
I don't know. He said Sandow sucked. I thought early Sandow was good with the Cody Rhodes stuff, right? When they were doing the like Distinguished Gentleman or whatever that thing was, right?
Yeah.
That stuff was great. And then it all fell off real fast after all that.
Well, then he did the Mizdow. Then he was Mizdow for a while.
Yeah,
that was okay, but that wasn't. Yeah, I would say that's one of those things where it's a moment in time, where in the moment you're like, this is so much fun. And then now you're like, hey, let's go back and watch it. You're like, okay, like,
yeah.
What?
It was comedic relief at the time.
But when it was Cody with the mustache and then him with like the genius ripoff thing, yeah, that shit was cool. I like that.
That was fun. But Mass Mahler, are they new? Are you new to the
I hope
table?
so. Mass Mahler, what's up? Stay around.
Yeah, hang out. Join us. Yeah.
Yeah, keep talking.
We love new wrestling friends. So yeah, Tom, that was our trip back in time there. Yeah, I had fun with that. Yeah.
Well, speaking of WWE, because we don't really cover it, Mass Smaller, just to let you know if you're staying around, but we do talk about what you want to talk about.
Exactly,
and again, before it dies a slow death, which it looks like it's already started, Twitter has hashtags, and we do hashtag tweet the table, and we've got to about the WWE.
Talk about that. At AUC Kata, says, why is it the old WWE title that Heyman is carrying has Brock Lesnar's side plates on it instead of Reigns' side plates?
Well, hold on. Side note. Kata!
Yeah.
Fucking Kata, man.
It's been a while.
Miss hearing from
Yes.
Yeah. That takes me back to the radio days.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, Kata.
Yeah.
You're the fucking man.
He's the best.
And also, yeah, what a fucking dumb thing, huh? You can't even update the side plate. Like, no one's grabbing the belt and be like, you know what?
Yeah, what that means is
right.
That's the like secondary prop one that they have like in the trunks around Gorilla. And they're like, Paul, take these. Like, you don't need to fucking, the other ones are heavy, right? And so he does that and nobody checked the side plates.
The only thing that I can think that maybe the reason they're actually doing it is he conquered Brock Lesnar to unify the titles, right? So he actually took Brock Lesnar's title. My thing, though, is now we've got 3 fucking titles, but he's only one champion. So you got Paul Heyman with both these fucking things. And then you got Roman with his, and it's like,
no, it bugged me. The point was he unified the brand titles. Then you went, well, there's a new brand title, and he's just this title now. And it went, no, then you just took one brand title away from him. Like you didn't.
Exactly. Yeah.
You didn't like make a new title. Like, I hate that. No, you just took a title away from him. It was the weirdest thing to me. Yeah.
I liked when he held both because it showed like I'm over both of these shows. It looked a little bit cooler than just having the one title. But now with 3 and it's only one champion, it just looks so stupid.
Yeah.
It just all around looks dumb.
Mass Mahler says, what do you think of the new NXT Underground? I fucking love it and hope Underground sticks around and they declare champion. Are they doing it's that Raw Underground thing there in NXT? I haven't seen it yet. Are they doing it any better than the Raw one? It clearly doesn't have Cocaine Shane.
Yeah, it doesn't have Cocaine Shane in it. So that's one of the reasons why it's not catching on.
Right,
there's no women. There's no women of the night just hanging around dancing to no music.
Listen, we might want to roll the dice with Cocaine Shane on this down there in NXT. I mean, it's USA, right? I mean, come on.
Well, here, look, roll the dice anytime with cocaine, see what happens. But
apparently,
responsibly.
Apparently you can do it in the White House.
Yeah, responsibly. But yeah, I think it's good for guys who are uber athletes that don't know what's going on yet. And so the first one I watched, it was Gable Stevenson, and he got in there and he's fucking
ain't got no promo chops, but he can fucking make an elbow to the face.
Well, no, he's throwing people. He's throwing people like Brock Lesnar, just everything. Because I mean, he's a wrestler, right? Like,
right. So he's Suplex City in there.
Yeah. Side note, go watch. There's limited footage, but go watch Brock Lesnar and Gable Stevenson wrestling at the University of Minnesota.
Yeah, all right.
You find out Brock Lesnar's not the fucking man pretty quick.
Okay.
And it's pretty impressive.
Well, yeah, age gets to everybody, man, you know?
Well, I mean, Gable Stevenson's a gold medalist.
But yeah, that's what I mean. Like, even an old orangutan gets bested by a young orangutan at some point. You know what I mean? Like, you can be more than human, but there's other more than human types that are coming behind you. Right.
But so I like it for that. And I definitely like it in NXT, where the thing with NXT that I think they need to double down on is just don't be what we've called SmackDown in the past, Diet Raw. Don't just do.
Yeah, I don't want just a yellow brand. Right.
Yeah, do different things. And so if Raw Underground, or whatever we're calling it, NXT Underground, is your thing, let's do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let's make it function. Like, I caught it one time for a while. Like, I liked when they had Regal running things as the GM. I know they kind of can't contractually do that right now, but like, it felt different, right? They presented it as such. It's like, I'm running the fucking developmental league and you're causing goddamn problems, right? And he was like checking in with everybody every day, and like, it almost like kick you out of school almost. Like, it felt like a little different presentation. Right now, I've kind of fallen off of the NXT for a while, so I might check this out to see what this Underground is like. Jeffrey Sills talking about WWE in the chat says that Ricochet and Logan Paul's spot to the table was crazy as fuck. Man, the Ricochet and Logan Paul stuff is like, again, when I see it, I'm like, man, takes a gifted athlete to do these things, right? It does, and they are gifted athletes, right? They got fucking 12 packs, like the hips don't lie, but like, to me, it's just that, right? It's just back to that, where I'm just like, okay, it feels like the Kofi spot in Royal Rumble now, right? Where it's like Logan Paul shows up, we got to get a Ricochet, they fucking jump from the goddamn parking lot into each other, right? Like, we got to get one of those spots in.
Yeah. I've got
Hogan must pose.
I got my thoughts on moves when we get to AEW Dynamite, and
they don't matter.
It matters if you make it matter, and I'll get into it a little bit more. I don't want to spill the beans too early, but what I will say is, yes, it was a crazy spot. Yeah, and that's what I'll say.
All right.
What's the next tweet table we got?
The other tweet the table we've got is from at the Rebel Trucker, Big Josh.
Oh my God!
Yeah, this is like a blast from the past. It's almost, hey man, well, yeah. He says, ha ha. So Bailey is in the Judgment Day now, huh? Lol, hashtag tweet the table. And yeah, Kata and Big Josh, first of all, before we jump into this Bailey topic, long-time fans, listeners, members of the Table Nation. And we've been doing this for new listeners. Mass Mahler, I don't know if you're new to the show here, and some other new listeners, for about 10 years coming up in a couple weeks here. So we urge any old listeners, any new listeners, send us something, an MP4, email to tableshow@gmail.com. Same place you can send the MP4s or something, or an MP3 or something, right? Just tell us something about some fond memories you may have of 10 years of the Spanish Announce Table, and we'll read or play some of those on the 10-year episode coming up here in a couple of weeks. So get those out now, tableshow@gmail.com. Send us something, send a clip. Make sure you put somewhere in the subject something that my dumb brain can catch and be like, hey, I can use this on the 10-year anniversary.
Yeah, definitely. Now, here's my question, because I didn't actually catch this live. Was this Samantha, or was this Mike Rowe who said it? You don't know? Neither do I. Here's what I'll say. I asked you this question last night because Samantha, I think her name is Samantha, right? Samantha Irvin is the announcer's name.
Yeah.
The lady that's she's engaged. Yeah. Well, she's engaged to Ricochet. That's how I also know her.
She also did that one. I don't know what her name is. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, she did some competition.
I think it is Samantha something. I think it is.
Yeah. So I sent you a clip where she's doing the winner is, and I don't like it. I don't like it because it's distracting, right? It doesn't make it classic. So for example, when the clip that I sent you, I think it was Chelsea Green. It was Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green.
Yeah.
And so the way she says it was, and your winners, Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green.
Yeah, she totally changes
which is like kind of fine in the moment, but historically, let's just say Chelsea Green. I don't know, but let's just say Chelsea Green fucking skyrockets to Charlotte
Changes
Flair
gimmick,
level.
right? She becomes the new version of the man, Becky Lynch, right?
Exactly. So let's say this version of her wins a title, women's title, tag title, whatever. When we go to show her career, you're going to hear, and Chelsea Green. And it's like, who the fuck is talking?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Yeah, you're going to have
it
to leave that
doesn't,
one on the editing floor. Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't have, I'm not saying she doesn't do good. She does a good job. She has a good voice, speaking voice, an announcing voice, but it's too much of a caricature of an announcer. I want more of a classic. This will be played for the, throughout the history of time, not a moment in time. It's 2023. Haha, Chelsea Green, like, or Gunther, like, just fucking say the names. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not the story. The wrestlers are the story. It's kind of like a dork over there in AEW. What's his name?
Justin Roberts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, and again, far be it from me. Listen, they are on the grandest stage and I'm not, but whenever I would do ring announcing, the few times I did it, that was my goal. Like I'd not mimic anybody that I've heard before, but also like not do anything to be that ridiculous, right? Like you just had to sound the part, right? And not, right.
Well, and I also think going to the announcer kind of rant here, I think people are thinking because Bruce Buffer in the UFC is such a staple of the UFC, they're saying, well, I want to be the staple of WWE, AEW. And it's there are people who legitimately like get excited when Bruce Buffer walks out. Those people have small brains. So like just fucking do the job.
Usually the idea, and this is what I gather too from, the promoter side, you over there from the hiring is like, you treated that like the referee role. It's like, hey, the more people notice you, the worse of a job you're doing here.
Yeah.
Right? Like
when you're not saying the things and for example, like we're talking about the announcer thing because someone messed up, right? Like that's when, and to me, messing up is.
Well, there was also a feel I got from the promoters of like, listen, man, we already battled this idea of legitimacy here. So, and professionalism, like this aura of like not being professionalism. So like fucking be a professional. Like I had to tell one of your fighters, like, no, I can't just call you tick, tick, boom. No, I need to announce your fucking name, right? Like, no, your real name will be said. Sorry.
For sure.
Right.
So that's our WWE talk?
Yeah, that is our WWE talk. Again, we will talk about whatever you want to talk about. We don't follow WWE all that much. So if you have WWE questions for us, that's fun because we got to catch up, right? And we want to stay abreast, right? We do, we don't want to be completely clueless, but man, it's a lot. It's a lot to watch. And right now, we just think AEW is more fun overall. So we watch it and, some other things that we, think about the personalities that own and operate WWE at large. But that's a different time. Maybe join us on Threads for maybe discussions about that, maybe. But yeah, so we like to talk about AEW. So before we get into AEW Dynamite that happened last night, which is usually what we break down and kind of go more in depth on, Collision is this new show, right? We kind of like the Collision. We felt like it had a different feel, but yet, man, I'm worried it's going the Rampage route, right? It's just kind of like, here's some exhibition matches. It's kind of what it feels like.
And to defend them a little bit in this regard, most new shows do this, right? AEW Dynamite had this a little bit. Now, Chris Jericho came right out of the jump and said, we've got the inner circle. The inner circle's taking over. So that was your first real angle, and then people followed suit after that. You go back to NXT. When NXT changed the format from veteran to rookie to then this weekly show, there was a lot of Bray Wyatt just beat some person. Seth Rollins has crazy hair and beat Jinder Mahal. Like it wasn't really anything, Right. So I've been wanting to do Collision recaps, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, somewhere in there, 5 to 15 minutes, something like that, just to give you some extra content. And I have thoughts, so I like to say them out loud for myself, if anything. But it's been difficult because when Miro just beats local enhancement talent, or there's tournament matches, which tournament matches are cool in like a setting up the show, but there's not really a lot of meat on the bone to get on a microphone and be like, so Ricky Starks beat Rock Hard Juice Robinson. Now he moves on. And it's once we get there, it's fun to talk about, but not getting there. So that's all to say. I think we've done 3 weeks of this, right? Of Collision. We've got our first really marquee matchup. Actually, we got 2 of them, I believe. So on the lower end of the marquee matchup, You got a reignited feud with Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks, former members of Team Taz, locking horns again. That should be fun. But I think the real marquee here is two men of a certain age getting in the ring after, was it 17 years, 18 years? Samoa Joe and CM Punk. So, Tim, I've got two questions for you. One, are you excited about this matchup of two men of a certain age wrestling each other? And two, not that it's necessarily important because, again, it's your entertainment, my entertainment, but how do you think this will be received or anticipated from the bigger IWC?
You're going to get a mixed reaction. CM Punk brings the John Cena response, right? Of the like, some people love him, some people hate him, and there's no in between. I personally, I don't think I hate the guy, right? Maybe I hate the, like some of what he brings to the table here, but I'm worried about this match, right? And from that regard, as you said, of their age doing this, but they're going to do a lot of these like throwbacks to their entire feud and career, rivalry, right? So the folks who grew up watching that ROH, followed them along through their entire careers and know the history between these two, it will probably be a masterpiece for those folks, right? And they will think it's the greatest thing that's been on TV in a while. And then the rest of us will be like, yeah, that was okay. That's how this is going to go down, right?
I actually think this is what I think. I think we've always talked about how when you're best friends in a wrestling match, you tend to hit each other a little harder, right?
Yeah.
Triple H said that about his matches with Shawn Michaels. Now, I do not know if Samoa Joe and CM Punk are best friends. However, they have had a friendship for a very long time. Both parties here, CM Punk and Samoa Joe, have been very complimentary or tongue-in-cheek. We're going to get in there and fight each other again, pal, right? So breaking the fourth wall, I think they like each other, right?
Sure.
So I think there's going to be a little bit of, I can lay this in, he'll be fine with it. And I think we may see a little bit of
So they can go slower, but go hard.
Right. A little bit of a Walter Sheamus kind of vibe.
Or think of, remember Undertaker, Triple H, Cage, right?
Yeah.
Both are old. Both are well
but
past the prime, but that match was like,
yeah.
When you watch back, you're like, Jesus, guys.
Yeah.
down.
So I think there's going to be more of that than maybe anticipated going in. I think they know that this is important. I think one of the wrestlers
they
in
want
this
this to be a bow on their thing.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I think one of the wrestlers in this match is wanting to stick it to another group of wrestlers in this company. So I think that person may be going above and beyond. Now, here's the caveat. I've mentioned it. Men of a certain age. These are not 20-year-olds. They're not Logan Paul and Ricochet, right? Also, and I have said this since day one, and I will say it until I see otherwise, but CM Punk is the most unathletic wrestler to ever be famous. They're unathletic wrestlers, but never got to a main event spot. He did.
And at least be this famous for such a sustained amount of time.
Yeah.
Right. Like this wasn't a 15 minutes of fame. This wasn't Ellsworth, right? Like what we're talking about. We're talking about decade-long career.
Yeah.
With this athletics. Yeah.
Yeah. He has two left feet. He can't get out of his way. When he jumps and does the Macho Man elbow, he gets lost in the air. Looks like he's afraid.
Yokozuna was more athletic than this guy.
I mean, probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Well, so with that being said, I think if you're going hard and trying to push it to the limit, but you don't have the skill set, you might see a crash and burn. So for all that being said, I anticipate this to be memorable. Whether that's good or bad, I guess we're all going to find out that part.
Well, here's what I'll say too. Again, hire us, Tony, Tim and Tom, if you're looking for, if you like to hire podcasters. I understand you've put a lot into this of like, we're going to do Punk versus Joe at Collision, right? Everybody will tune in. They might give you, what you said, Tom, the fucking match of the year. Right? They might throw something down. Everybody will be like, wow. like, I hope you are writing and planning for the next Collision off of that, right? That's where the money is made, right? That will be what people go like. The mistake is made of people go like, we're going to put Punk versus Joe so people will tune in. No. When people see what happened on Punk versus Joe is where people are going to tune in. You got to be thinking about that.
Now, with all that being said, I know how this ends. Do you know how it ends? Jay White costs CM Punk the match. Samoa Joe advances. Ricky Starks wins on the other side of the bracket, beating Powerhouse Hobbs. You get Ricky Starks versus Samoa Joe in the final. Then at the next AEW pay-per-view, you get Jay White versus CM Punk. Isn't it great?
You don't think CM Punk is winning the fucking Owen Hart thing, right? Like
here's the coolest story, though. Here's the coolest story from what they've been telling already on the show. Because Ricky Starks and CM Punk have been buddy-buddy. Well, now all of a sudden, let's see how they're buddy-buddy when they're in the finals against each other. That's interesting. I think they want to do Jay White, CM Punk. So that's why.
Mass Mahler says, I met Punk when he was in WWE, and he was so cool and just hung out talking about ROH for 30 minutes or more. That is a pretty neat experience, man. Mass Mahler also said that he hadn't really been a big fan of AEW, mostly old-timers from WWE, but then asked, do you think MJF will jump ship after his AEW contract? And you kind of chimed in and said, I hope not. And I hope not for that same reason you're pointing out there, Mass Mahler, because I don't want it just old timers from WWE, which I think is a bit of a misnomer. Like, everybody's been in WWE in this day and age, right? They were so big, everybody's been there. Mm-hmm. I think that's kind of part of what it is. But no, I do like some of that homegrown non-WWE idea. That's why I want MJF to stand there. And I kind of even though I wouldn't say Punk, I mean, Punk was a WWE guy, but Samoa Joe, we don't even really think of as a WWE guy, even though he spent some time there. Like, I even feel this is kind of like, it's some old timers, guys, right? I'd rather move on with our Hangmans and our Ricky Starks and those kind of things. Yeah. And stick with us, Mass Mahler. If you haven't been into AEW, man, we'll get you there because we love it, and we'll talk about some of the greatness of it. We'll also point out its flaws. There are plentiful of flaws. We like to point those out too.
Yeah. So with Collision, I'm excited to see what happens. I think they got some ways to go, but I think this is the episode where we need to start going from, wasn't that fun, to, hey, we got some stories. Because the thing that this is what works for them and doesn't work for them. And I've seen this a lot online where, their ratings are down. They're going to compete with all this stuff, which is 100% true. However, another man of a certain age, am more willing to go to a wrestling show on a Saturday night rather than a Wednesday night, right? And so that part, I think, is what they can use on the television. If they make it to be, this is a party you want to be a part of,
then I'll go to your town
next week. Then we're good. Then the ratings can be kind of good.
Yeah,
not
but if
amazing,
you're killing it at the gate.
Yeah, but if you're selling out, that's the key.
Make it a party. There was remember Ted DiBiase Jr. for a bit. He was trying to run a gimmick where it was, the guy who's going to end up in prison here. He was trying to run a bit where he was going to do tailgating at WWE events. Start making it a thing where if we think like, I got to go to this thing because this is where all the cool shit goes down. Fucking Luchasaurus came out and was chugging beers with the fucking crowd, right? Like, make it a fucking party, right? Like, let's make it a destination event. Have that play off on TV, right? Like you said, and then you'll make it exactly what I said, a destination event.
Yeah. Here's what I do real quick. We're going to get into Dynamite in just a second. I know we're running a little long, but we'll get there. This is what I would do. Use social media to your advantage. Just like you said, they're doing a tailgate. Luchasaurus comes out and chugs beer.
Fucking keg stand.
Put that on your TikTok, right? Put all this stuff that you're not going to see on TV that happens at Collision. And then it becomes, oh shit, really?
Because then you make it, all right, so you have Saturday night's all right for fighting, right? But then you also make it like Saturday night's all right for tailgating. Saturday night's all right for, you know what I mean?
Partying.
Fucking throwing the football, right? You got these guys throwing around, or Saturday night's all right for partying, right? They're doing this. Saturday night's all right for dancing. You got the girls doing sexy dancing at the fucking event at the party or whatever, right? Like you make it a thing, right? Make Saturday nights Collision AEW the fucking hip, cool place to be.
Yeah, because I think one thing is if you don't put it on television, but you put it on TikTok, you put it on Thread, you put it on Twitter, you put it on Facebook, whatever it is, it becomes a thing that's like, oh, I want to touch that, right? Like I'm not there. It's like, it's not being presented to me on TV, which is like, well, present yourself, right? TV is like what do you have for me? Where social media is like,
Right.
dude, you didn't see that? And you're like, oh man, I didn't. Fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, they're coming in 3 weeks. I gotta see that.
Well, by nature, it's generally from phone, so you're up closer, right? It's not this like production. It just feels more real. Yes, I think highlight a bunch of that stuff, make it the thing. Because right now I treat it in Rampage like it can be on in the back. It's like the white noise, right? It's on in the background while I got other things going on. I'm doing some other stuff. I need the stories to make me want to like put all the other things aside and watch the TV.
So I think the biggest problem with Rampage, and we've talked about this a lot, and actually Friday night's their 100th episode, which means CM Punk's been back in wrestling for 100 weeks. Because remember, the debut episode was his return. 100 weeks of Punk.
Yeah. He was not injured for what, 40 of them?
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing that Rampage runs into, and anything where you're trying to do pro wrestling, is it's not live. If these dorks who read the spoilers see that whatever beat whatever, then they don't tune in. Yeah. But if you don't know, you're going to get better ratings, and then you're going to get a better product. So that's my rant. Now let's transition. We had AEW Dynamite last night, and Tim, did we have a fun one to start off the show? We had, and I'm not going to say this right probably, but it's the Blind Tag Team Eliminator Tournament of Champion Contenders, or whatever the fuck.
Rolls right.
It's a fun concept, but it's not a fun name. Right. But we had partners Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin taking on former friends, former tag champs, now bitter rivals, Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee. So, Tim, before we get into all the fun spots here, what'd you think generally of this match?
I was most intrigued by that idea of like, well, Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee, huh? We keep flirting with this contentious relationship. We're definitely not making sure we stay away from it, but we're definitely not doing something with it. And I still don't get the feel that we're doing something with it even after this. Maybe nothing too in depth.
Yeah. So before the match even started, we went backstage earlier in the day, and Darby Allin basically said, "Hey, Keith Lee, don't be a bitch tonight." Keith Lee's like, "You are very bold to say that, little man." And so when this match starts, goddamn, does Keith Lee throws Darby Allin into the 8th row, just said, "See ya." And then that motherfucker, his paint flew off his face as he was in the air. He was going so fast. He gets thrown around. Orange Cassidy comes in. He does his, isn't this fun little chops? And then Keith Lee's like, "Motherfucker, this is a chop." Puts his hand through his chest. And kind of like what it was last week with the 6-man tag, this was a showcase for Keith Lee to be like, remember how fucking cool Keith Lee is? And you're like, yeah, he is fucking cool. Now, Swerve Strickland also held his own in this. He had the fun jump kicks. I think one time he jumped off of Keith Lee's back to sidekick Orange Cassidy, I think it was, in the head, stuff like that. You also had that kind of friction where I remember one point Keith Lee was down on the mat and Prince Nana was just laughing at him like, "You fucking idiot," you know? You had Keith Lee powerbomb. They did the Doomsday Device, except for he powerbombed Swerve Strickland. So Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin pick up the victory here. The thing that I agree with you is like, we have these two guys, Swerve and Keith Lee, around each other, but perfect example of like, what the fuck are we doing? Is so they lose this match and Swerve just goes off. And then Keith Lee is like, "Hey, Darby and Orange, like, good match. That was a good job." And it was like,
Swerve wasn't like, "This is why we sucked as a tag team. You're a bitch," right? He didn't do nothing.
Nothing. So I don't know what we're doing. I hope we do something.
Or just don't. I just don't or do, but we're doing this like, are we?
Well, yeah. So again, this is the second time that we've seen Keith Lee in a multi-man match, no singles match, right? And I did this last week, reckless speculation. So if you're listening new this week, it's reckless speculation again. I have no information, no merit. It's just a stupid white guy from Kansas City's opinion of what I'm seeing. I think Keith Lee is still struggling with either long-term COVID or some type of other health concern that says, hey, I can't get my heart rate up for this long by myself. I got to tag out to get a break. So that's just my guess. And maybe that's why we're not seeing Swerve versus Keith Lee. Again, reckless speculation,
Maybe.
no merit,
Maybe.
just a dumb, smooth-brained idiot over here with cookie dough for brains, just saying some bullshit.
Yeah.
So Darby and Orange Cassidy win. Then they go right into what I thought was interesting, a Darby Allin video package where he talks about this guy, Nick Wayne, who, Tim, we've got a chance to see when we were at our GCW show in Chicago.
Yep.
And Nick Wayne got a contract at 16. Now he's 18, so he can wrestle. Darby Allin's putting him over as far as this guy is going to be the one I look after. His dad trained me. Unfortunately, his dad passed away.
That's going to be the biggest thing ever.
New Darby Allin, right? So here's where I got a little confused though. Later on in the night, they just say, hey, next week, Nick Wayne's in action. Yeah. So what do you make of all this? What do you think?
Look, man, I've heard a bunch of folks talk about somebody coming from the indies, some young kid who is the greatest, most amazing thing ever. So I don't have any faith that this kid is going to be the greatest, most amazing thing ever.
Because, well, he was cool.
You know.
When we saw him, he was cool. It was in that tag match.
Yeah.
It was in the tag match against Aussie Open. Remember that?
No, I remember. I still like, I was like, let's pause it here a little bit, right? Let's see see how he's presented, what storylines, all of that matters, right? Again, the moves are one thing, the presentation, which I think, again, as you said, is cool. So we'll see how it goes. Is how I'm going. There's a lot of talk. It is noted that they are putting the full court press on like, hey, everybody, check out Nick Wayne. Like, they're opening the curtain for this guy. So let's see what happens.
If I had the pencil, you know what I'm doing? He wins his match next week. Unfortunately, it's against Swerve Strickland, which I think breaking kayfabe, they have good chemistry. They trust each other. Sure. Hey, let's have a good match. Right. Okay. But storyline perspective.
We've done this 1,000 times.
Yeah, but storyline perspective, that's another loss for Swerve Strickland. What the fuck, right? But what I'm shotgunning here in like a month's time for the next pay-per-view, you know what I'm doing? Nick Wayne says, Darby Allin, you piece of shit. I never needed anyone to look after me, and beats the fuck out of Darby Allin.
The Kansas City punt.
And then this is where Sting comes in and it's like, Darby, like, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. And Darby's like, the fuck are you to tell me it's going to be fine? Like, old man, this isn't the 70s. I do shit different. And then we get some bullshit with that. So I have Darby Allin beats Nick Wayne. Nick Wayne turns his back, becomes like the Darby Allin of the bad guy, right? So Darby Allin's a good guy. Make Darby Allin a bad guy, which is Nick Wayne, because he can do a lot of the same similar stuff. But then Darby Allin, with this friction with Nick Wayne, makes him take it out on Sting. Sting's retirement match, Darby Allin versus Sting.
Yeah, you just have these little things where Sting's trying to come out and like pull him off or something, and he shoves Sting a little hard, and Sting's like, hey man, calm down, right? Like, and he's like, fuck, fine, whatever, sorry, right? But the next time he shoves him and hits him, and he's like, hey man, calm down. And he's like, yeah, sorry. Right. And the next time it's also a chair shot, right? And then like we just get there, right? Yeah, he's taking out his frustrations on dad. Yeah.
But then I think it manifests into something more of, hey, for me to be the best version of myself, like, I got to take you out. And Sting's like, well, then motherfucker, if I can't beat you, I shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens, brother.
Do it, yeah.
And do it.
I'm jumping from the top of the building.
Yep. I mean, Sting is so fucking cool. All right. After that video package, we get a quick recap of Jungle Boy and Hook. And Tony Schiavone's backstage, and he just conveniently knows that Hook's showing up.
Hook's going to be here.
I don't know who told him, but okay.
Yeah, they go out to the strip clubs together.
Yeah, so Jack Perry opens up the door and was like, what up, you fat motherfucker?
Tell me, I promise you this is happening. The next town that they're in. The local strip club, fucking Ferrari is pulling up. Doors are opening. Schiavone and Hook are getting out amidst all the fucking marijuana smoke billowing out. A couple of ladies by their side.
a Tony Schiavone loses his shit storyline, especially with the tentacles that he has with all the wrestlers, like with Britt Baker and Adam Cole and MJF and all Sting, would be
but I still want a moment
amazing.
of pimped out. Like, remember when what was the Inner Circle got like high from Conan? Like, we need a moment where Tony Schiavone is the cool guy in the room running the fucking, pulling the strings, right? And we're like, oh shit, fucking Tony's got the game. Right?
Yeah. I would love that. But I would also love a fucking self-destruction of Tony Schiavone and the locker room comes to save him.
Tony Schiavone evilly manipulates something for his own personal gain. Right? Like, get somebody.
And Britt Baker looks at him as like, we were best friends.
He takes out Adam Cole because he needs somebody else to win because he's placed a major bet and now he can retire. But like, Adam Cole's out now for good, like double concussed, can't ever wrestle again. Yeah. And Britt Baker's like, but Tony, we were friends. And he's like, fuck you, bitch, you tease. You think we were fucking friends?
Trying to fuck you the entire time. You couldn't tell?
Fucking that champagne was expensive.
That'd be great. But so let's go back to here. So Jungle Boy walks out and he's like, guess what? I demanded Tony Khan give me a match for that FTW championship. And then Hook, he runs in. He's like, I'm attacking him. Now, here's where we need to get better with Hook. I think Hook's great. I still think he's great. I'm still team Hook, 100%.
Okay.
However, if you're going to make some fucking noise,
gotta do something, right?
You were mute the entire time.
Yeah.
That was the only thing.
I know that was the gimmick, right? I know that was the deal, but like, I've known plenty of people who are a man of few words, but it's a few words, right? Like, there's a few of them.
Yeah.
Come on,
that's
man.
That's where we need some audible frustration comes from Hook, not just the silent killer.
Yeah, can I get I'm going to give you a titty twister next time I see you or something from you, Hook?
Mm-hmm. You're leaving the arena, but your girl's still here.
Yeah. Like, can we get like I am half the man that you are?
Man, someone should do that when they like say that they have a girlfriend, but then they run away from the babyface. The babyface should be like, your girl's still here. And he's like, fuck,
shit. Yeah.
Yeah. And he just walks over. Yeah. That would be fun. All right. So then let's get into what I thought started off maybe the most fun 30 minutes in AEW recent memory. So we come back and we cut to a gym. And inside that gym is MJF and Adam Cole, baby. And MJF is like, this is a bro session. I'm so pumped. Bro, this is so cool. And Adam Cole's still coy. Like, hey, man, like, okay, like, just shut up, right? You see MJF get on that bench press. I don't know what that weight was. It could be bumper plates, so it could be a deceiving, but it looked like it was probably 275, maybe 300.
Sure.
And he reps that motherfucker out. Pop, pop, pop. Again, those could have been bumper plates and 10 pounds, but we don't know. Pop, 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 pop. Gets it. And then MJF's like, hey, look at that fat guy over there. And Adam Cole's like, we can't say that anymore.
Can't do that. Don't do that. Yeah.
Stop. We can't. No. And then Adam Cole's like, all right, I'll get my set in. And MJF's like, you mean take weight off? He's like, no. He's like, you want me to spot you? He's like, I don't need it. And then in the worst kind of way to show he was actually lifting this way, the guy on the left was fucking half beat off and was just like making this motherfucker going bar path all weird. He does the reps. Fine, right?
Yeah. It's rapid fire, just killing the reps where MJF is like, what the fuck, Adam Cole? Yeah.
And it was great. And then he gets off the bench and he's like, yeah, that was good. Hey, by the way, you know who that fat guy reminds me of? And then at the same time, they both go, Tony Schiavone.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I like that they can bond on that, right? Because there is that, right? Like, MJF hates everybody, right? He clearly hates Schiavone, but yeah, Adam Cole, even as a babyface, and Schiavone is a babyface, don't like him.
Doesn't like him. And that's great. I guess I forgot about this. I thought it all ran together, but it doesn't. So we'll get back to that. So then we go back into the ring. And honestly, And a match that I don't think was needed, except for the local crowd probably needed to hear a cool rap, which they got. They got some Trudeau lines. They got some Canadian Drake lines, I think it was, but it was The Acclaimed and Billy Gunn taking on the Blade and the Bollywood Boys. And this is one-way traffic. Acclaimed win, right? Not much to say about that. Afterwards, Harley Cameron gets on the Tron and is like, I'm still great.
Yeah.
What do you think of QTV with the Acclaimed?
The QTV with the Acclaim thing is fun for me, just in that, like, everybody does their job well here, right? Like, I don't think anybody's bad. Even this Johnny TV fits in with the group in a weird way, right? But it is just that filler, right? It's kind of that when we said, like, what were we talking about earlier, where we were like, oh, Sandow and Cody Rhodes. At the moment, we were like, this is really cool and fun. But it never amounted to anything great for both of us. Like, when we think about them in retrospect, and if we watch it today, we would be like, that wasn't as good as I remembered. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's my only issue with the Acclaimed part of this feels like a feud of a team that should be ascending, right? This is the last feud that you have until you get with that main event picture, and it's FTR and it's the Hardys.
It's one where you squash these cheesy heels.
And then you're in that picture.
Yep.
Right. But this feels like, hey, that was cool that you were at the adults table. Now we need you to go over to the kids table. They're getting a little rowdy. And now the Acclaimed are going down and hanging out with
this is the Marshall crowd. This is New Day. Run out there and throw some pancakes. Keep everybody, clapping and cheering.
Yeah, but I don't think they're ready for that. I don't think they're
what it feels like, though.
No.
No, you stop it. No.
Yeah.
This is definitely not day sex.
Yeah, this is where I want the Acclaim to go up against the Lucha Bros, right? Yeah. Where I want them to be like, hey, we're really being fucking tested. They can't understand our fucking language, so your raps aren't working, and they're just gonna try to kick our ass. That's what I want for the Acclaim, because I felt like the Acclaimed have done this with 2.0, with Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. And it's good. We're playing the hits. It's fine. But I think it's a miss as far as, like,
I told you,
they should still be ascending.
I told you, this is, and I don't even think that this is happening yet, but this is what's going to lead to it. We're going to have to come up with something post Scissor Me Daddy Ass, right? It's going to get old. And this is how it gets old, because it's not in meaningful storylines now. We're going to remember, like, oh, we did the Scissor Me Daddy Ass thing against the Guns, and then against Jeff Jarrett's crew, and now against QTV, and next it'll be fucking, I don't know, Serpentico and his fucking,
yeah, Spanish announce project.
Gimmick infringement, motherfuckers.
I mean, hey, but thank you.
The gimmick infringers. That's what we're calling them.
Just give us a check or some free tickets.
Hey, yeah, if you give us a little bit of royalties, then it's all day sex, baby. Then everything.
Yeah, all day sex. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All right, then we move on, and oh my God, a moment that if you have a heart, this made it grow 3 times the size. Eddie Kingston, we're showing here, wins the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship. He is just taken aback, so emotional. He dedicated the win to his mom, dad, and Terry Funk, which a fucking course.
Yeah.
God bless Eddie Kingston.
That's the 3 things. It's mom, dad, and Terry Funk.
Yes. I mean,
and
to
cigarettes.
Everyone, it should be. Yeah. And so he's like, this is the best. He goes, I'm going to defend this with my life. I love this title. Awesome. Then we cut to a video of John Moxley, and he talks about, hey, Eddie, you got this problem with me. Man, we've been the same since we met back in whatever it was, 2008, 2009. You keep on talking about all these kids complaining, but that's all the shit you're doing, homie. So, if you really want a reality check or you really want to hear the stuff, answer your phone.
Answer your phone. Yeah, that was a great line.
So, Tim, let's take it back a little bit. What'd you think of Eddie Kingston becoming a New Japan Pro Wrestling champion?
Yeah, becoming a New Japan Pro Wrestling champion is awesome. Are you sure it was your heart that swelled 3 times its size that day, Tom?
Yes, I love Eddie
Okay, all right.
Kingston.
Yeah, no, it was your heart that swelled 3 times that day.
Love that guy.
Mass Mauler says, I effing love Eddie Kingston. And yes, we love Eddie Kingston. This is an Eddie Kingston podcast over here. He also said, why is Jeff Jarrett still wrestling? And God, man, bless, that's a question we've been trying to answer for 10 years on the Spanish Announce Table. But yes, man, Eddie Kingston, the, what is it, pure open weight champion? What do they call these things? I forget what everything.
Strong. In New Japan Pro Wrestling, strong
open
weight
champion
champion
of the world. Yes, Eddie Kingston, love that. And I like this storyline, right? We got a little bit of a, what was that about with Renee Paquette last week going, fix this, Eddie, right? Because we were like, well, Eddie gonna fix this? What does that mean? And now we get answer your phone from Jon Moxley, indicating Eddie Kingston, who was, I'm bringing the fight to you, I'm coming to your door, is now not answering the phone. Like, so when the cameras are rolling and the interviewer is in the way and the wife is in harm's way, right? Like, it's Eddie Kingston up in my face, but yet answer the phone, Eddie, right? Let's talk this out, right?
Yeah.
You got to fix it, right? Yeah. What's going on here with this story?
Well, so here's another aspect of the story I want to bring to your attention. We can put in a pin. We can put a pin in it later and get to it when they announce it in the show. However, Blood and Guts, it's announced, hey, Eddie Kingston's not a part of the Elite because he's over in New Japan. However, is that true? Because is Jon Moxley trying to call him and say, we need to take out these dorks, the Elite?
Yeah, they're
what the
dorks.
fuck are you doing?
Eddie, you know these are some dorks. Go hang out with the dorks to fight me?
Yeah.
Come on, it's all leather and day sex over here, Eddie.
Yeah. So that's interesting. We'll see, because again, we got mystery partners for both the BCC and the Elite, and Blood and Guts. It's coming up in a couple weeks. So let's keep it moving. We go backstage to Wrestling Aunts, Renee Paquette and RJ City. They are everyone's wrestling aunts. The best.
Quick shout out. Yeah, RJ City.
I mean,
come on the show, RJ City. We need to interview RJ City.
And if you're not watching AEW, the fuck's wrong with your life? It's the best way to start a Sunday morning. Anyhow, old man Matt Hardy is saying, who do I get for this blind eliminator tag partner thing? And so they draw a name and they say, it's Jeff. And he's like, fucking great. Awesome.
Right, yeah.
They go, Jarrett. And he goes, oh man, he's a piece of shit. Something like that. And walks off.
So yeah, I forget what he said something about slap nuts, right? But then he was like, on his way out, he was like, I hate Jeff Jarrett. I need that sound clip. I forgot to grab that. I was like, oh, we need that for the show. Yeah. And I love that they were just like, I mean, that makes sense, you know?
Yeah. Now, here's the other question though. Is this the oldest tag team that we've ever seen on television?
Well, no, the Briscoe and Patterson might be the oldest tag team we've ever seen. Well, Mae Young and who was the one that got Me Too'd? The lady from WWE.
Oh,
The tournament from. That might have been the oldest tag team ever. But on AEW, yes.
So Matt, I am fact checking this. So Matt Hardy is 48.
Mm-hmm.
So you do the math here. I'm just gonna look it up. And Jeff Jarrett
is 92 years old.
Is 55. So what's 48 and 55?
So they're 103 years old combined. What was Briscoe and Patterson in 98?
Oh, well, yeah. Well, yeah. I'm just saying they're over 100 years old.
Yeah. 100 years of life experience rolled up in that tag team. You know, all about fixing an 83 Ford carburetor.
Oh my God. Yeah. If they don't
Mass
come out
Mauler says, I can't stand Jeff Jarrett for years now. His best match was versus China. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. If they don't come out in Camaros, what the fuck are they doing? Like, they should just be all 80s. That would be fun. But it wasn't. So we keep it moving. Wheeler Yuta says he's going to beat Kenny Omega tonight. That's cool. Then Chris Jericho comes out, and you know what Chris Jericho does when he runs out of ideas? He says he's going to do a new gimmick. And so that's what we kind of get here. So Jericho's like, hey, Canada, poutine, hockey, Canada, America's
Labatt Blue.
Yeah, woo, mooses, right? We all love these mooses.
Ooh, Jeffrey Seal says Hogan and Edge was a pretty old team too.
Oh yeah, but but Edge was kind of in his prime.
Yeah, they offset each other a little bit, I think.
Yeah. And then he's like, "Hey, I was here. Stu Hart, Bret Hart, Owen Hart,
Ice.
Roger Hart, hockey. You know, he's
Tim Hortons.
Poutine. Did I say that one already? Yeah. Poutine. Yeah. Neat. And so he's doing all. And so he's doing all of his shit, and then this fucking noise comes from the speakers that I've never heard of.
What was this? So good.
It's so unsettling. It's so not appealing to listen to. I feel
like it was the warning signal on the Titan submersible before it imploded. Too soon? Is that too soon? Was that too soon?
We'll find out. We'll find out in hell.
Because that was just a weird noise, and it was so good. Fucking Don Callis is the best, man.
Yeah, so he comes out, and everyone's fuck you, Callis, and he's just totally no selling. Okay, whatever. And so to get to brass tacks here, what we're doing is Don Callis is like, we've known each other forever. We come on, what the fuck's going on? And Jericho's like, what the fuck is going on? He's like, you know what the fuck's going on? Join me.
Yeah.
And Jericho goes, you know what? And he kind of plays to the crowd. Fuck this guy, right? Okay. All right. You know what? Nah, maybe. And we get a maybe. What do you think of that answer?
Look, more Don Callis is something I almost unilaterally am encouraging and approving of. It could be with anybody but Chris Jericho, right? Like, do we got to do this?
Here's what I'm afraid of, though. You ready for it?
Oh, geez.
I think we slow play this. Is the Jericho Appreciation Society gonna implode? What's going on? Because later in the night, we'll just jump ahead just a little bit. Jericho's backstage with Garcia and Guevara, and they're like, hey, what the fuck? And he's like, hey, learn to walk by yourselves, right? So this is what happens, I think, Tim. We're slow playing that angle so that when the BCC and Elite thing is over with, we do Jericho versus Takeshita. Babyface Jericho and Takeshita, the heel in all black. Don Callis, Jericho promos, which will be fine. This was fun, sure. Right?
Oh, of course.
And it'll be 5
Jericho,
months.
Jericho, even when he's super high like he was for this, can still hit the spots just fine. He was really high for this, right? Like he was really high. Yeah, go back and look at his eyes. And just kind of how he's like, he's really not moving much, right? He's just kind of like taking in the crowd, right? Like he was just like, he was in the moment, man. All right, Jeffrey Seals in the chat says Jeff Jarrett's best match is the one where he lays down for Hogan.
That's why this company is in the piece of shit state it's in, Russo, for shit like this. Love that. That was the dumbest moment in wrestling. God, Vince Russo, when left by himself, is a fucking moron.
Sure, Judy Bagwell on a pole wasn't the.
Hey, that's still kind of fun. Okay, so we get a maybe.
I tried to squeeze in a guitar on a pole match that had Jeff Jarrett in there somewhere, but like he lost as part of a team. I was like, that's going to be a weird question to ask. Guitar on a pole.
All right, so then we move on. We get the vignette from Punk and Joe. They're like, we're gonna fight. Cool. Then we also get a vignette from yeah, and then we get a vignette from Hobbs and Starks, and they say they're gonna fight. Okay.
Then
we get a recap of Joe taking out Roddy Strong at Collision, putting him out on a stretcher. Yeah, Jesus, I'll tell you what, man.
Generic
even in this. Well, he was, because then we go backstage and Renee is looking for an update on Strong, and he's wearing a neck brace, and he's like, I'm okay, doctor, I can wrestle. Just let me out there, please. I can wrestle. I can wrestle. It fucking sucks. But then Adam Cole walks in and he's like, hey man, I'm so sorry with what happened. And Roger Strong's like, hey, what the fuck's going on with you and MJF? He's like, it's nothing. Again, we're just fucking. I'm just fucking around. Yeah. We know. He ain't about that life. I got my guard up. And then as he's saying something, MJF texts him. He's like, hey, we need to do that double clothesline. And if you catch Adam Cole's first reaction, it was kind of a smile, like, oh, man. Yeah. And then it's, Roddy, I'm fine. Like, this guy sucks. I'm out of here, right? Yeah. I got to go to my match, right? So here's where, going back to the Logan Paul Ricochet that I was teasing, I'm paying it off here. So MJF has the takedown, the headlock takedown over as any move he has, right? The headlock takeover where he pins Darby Allin.
Right.
People went crazy for that when he won the first time. People went crazy for that when he won the 4-way. I guarantee you, for how much fun the crowd had last night and how much fun it looked like the IWC had online with Adam Cole and MJF, when they hit this double clothesline, it's going to get 5 times the fucking reaction that the fucking spot with Ricochet and Ebenezer Paul gets when they do a double crotch chop 680 butt sniffer or whatever the fuck we're calling it. And that's what I'm saying. When you make the move matter, that's how you get the reaction. We've said this a million times. I'm not going to beat a dead horse, as the phrase goes, but any move Ricochet can do, any move, whatever Paul can do, Logan Paul can do, the Regal twins, the fucking one of the Howlets can do, any of your local wrestlers can do the same fucking moves. I guarantee you. So that they do a Spanish fly off the second. Who the fuck cares? But when you tell a story like the double clothesline, and when that pays off, that's what makes it memorable. That's what makes it fun. That makes it pro wrestling.
Yeah.
So that is what I like.
Right. Moves don't matter.
Moves don't matter.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So then we get to that match, and it is the Blind Eliminator Tag Tournament semifinal. MJF and Adam Cole versus, was this their name? I'm looking at Magic Meat.
Yeah. Magic Meat. It's Daddy Magic and the Butcher, right? I think so. It's Magic Meat. Yeah.
Why aren't they?
Yeah, it needs to be Magic Meat. The Butcher and Daddy Magic. That was my rap name.
My nickname in college. Yeah. Oh my God. That's what day sex is called to some people.
Right, yeah. In room
match,
22B, we have Magic Meat. They call me Magic Meat.
Hey, Magic Meat over here. Huh? Who's looking for some condoms? So we get this match.
Doesn't use condoms. All right.
Well, he sells it to other people. That's
right,
how he makes his money. Yeah.
We gotta ask. Like, you don't want the condoms. All right.
Anyway. Yeah. Selling it for $1. Selling it for $1. Selling it for $1. So we get the part of the match where MJF has the abdominal stretch on, I believe, the Butcher. And he's telling Adam Cole to grab his hand, like grab my hand, pull, the classic heel move where the outside partner helps the one that's has the abdominal stretch. Adam Cole says no. MJF says, do it. Adam Cole says no. MJF then gets the whole fucking crowd to chant, do it. Which is, again, awesome.
Love it.
And so he does it. And then he does, I didn't do anything, right? Yeah. That was probably my favorite moment. Oh, actually, side note, one of my favorite moments too was when MJF comes out first for the match. And then he goes, hey, guess what? Got Adam Cole. Adam Cole comes out. Yeah. And then MJF, call back to Sandow, does a Mizdow here and follows Adam Cole and then does the boom. Yeah. And in classic MJF fashion, he does the boom with Adam Cole, but then he goes, fucking nailed it. And
there was one point too, I forget like where all this fell in the whole timeline, but he's like, do the fucking thing, right? Like,
oh yeah,
makes him do the like Adam Cole, baby.
Yeah. That was after the match. Yeah. So MJF then calls for the double clothesline. And Adam Cole says boom and does the fucking his finisher to Matt Menard and he wins, right?
Magic meat.
Which is God, run with that, please. That was so much fun.
As cool as 2.0 is.
Yeah. I mean, have all of them, have all four of them together. Yeah, because they're all great, but Magic Meat needs to be their collective forward team name. So anyhow, after the match, yeah. Magic Meat selling cool something. Yeah, Anyhow,
that ain't it.
Well, it's something like we got it. Who cares? I don't care. I'm moving on. MJF is on the microphone.
We're live, pal.
Yeah, I don't care. And he's like, "Hey, any devil worshippers out there?" And yay, right? And then MJF says, "Hey, any fans of a certain cool guy over here?" And then that's when he's like, "Do the thing."
Yeah, he's like, "I got a friend with a cool name here." Or something.
And he's like, "Adam Cole," right? And so then he's like, "And because I'm better than you, and you know it, right?" And then what happens here? Where's my notes? Once in the bro. Oh, then he says, "I want another bro session," right? Don't we want to see another bro session? And yes. And he's like, "Man, sure, whatever, fine." And then he goes to leave, Adam Cole, that is. And then MJF's like, "I got one more thing for you, friend. One more thing. It's your birthday." And in classic MJF form, he actually kills it with the singing of a birthday song.
Jeffrey Sills here says he even puts his finger to his ear and gets to singing like he's Christina Aguilera.
Love it. Yeah. Does a great job. Has confetti come out. Fucking pays $2 for a cake.
Yeah.
Did you see how fucking pathetic this cake was?
Yeah.
And then they sing happy birthday. And then he's like, "Hey, I'm going to push his face in the cake after this." And so he's like, I'm going to do it. Blows out the candle, Adam Cole, that is. And then MJF goes, Adam Cole's too quick for him, puts his face in it. He falls on the ground. He's like, "You got me. You got me. And then they're like, "Eat the cake." And MJF eats the cake. Adam Cole takes it off his head and then eats it himself. That was weird, but fine. But then Adam Cole's like, "Hey, I want to genuinely thank you for this birthday celebration.
Thanks for being a good friend.
Thanks for being a good friend."
Right.
And then he goes out of the ring and he looks back and he kind of does a huh. And that,
okay,
and all the while, MJF is like, "He got me." He's looking in the camera. He's like, "He got me, guys." Oh,
what a fun time I had. MJF is saying,
yeah. So let's break this down a little bit. What the fuck happened here? Is this legit?
I would love if this is a storyline where Adam Cole actually, like, MJF actually isn't that bad. He just is like, he's realizes it for what you said he is. He's a bit of a broken-hearted guy who put up a wall of an assholishness as a defense. Yeah. And when he wants to be a good, loving friend, he is. And look, I'm changing him in good ways, right? But then Adam Cole is Adam Cole, baby, right? Like, he takes advantage when he needs to take advantage and fucking super kicks his head off and breaks his heart. And now we get MJF sympathy because he had his heart broken. He actually did care. He is a good guy.
Yes, that is what I'm wanting as well. So I explained this to Tim off air before we got going. Is I listened to another recap of last night's Dynamite just to get a different perspective, and the person brought up a good point where they said, like, this is MJF. So obviously MJF's origin story is CM Punk leaves him as a kid. He doesn't know what to do. So then he finds solace, another way of being himself in football.
Yep.
Yeah, being himself in football. But then when he gets into the football world, they call him all these typical mean Jewish names. So then he's spited by that, doesn't even want to do it. His first love was wrestling anyhow. Then he goes back to wrestling and realized, I ain't letting that shit happen again, ever again. So he builds the wall around his heart and is like, no one's getting in unless I let him in.
Becomes the Grinch.
Becomes MJF, the Grinch, right? Now, one thing that we do know already, got the receipts, as the kids say, is
kids say that
there was a tweet or whatever it was where MJF says studying for the best of all time. And it was Jericho and it was Adam Cole. And then it was two other people. I don't remember, but it was Adam Cole. So I think this is legitimate from MJF. I think this is him letting down that wall saying, This was one of my heroes. I'm hanging out with one of my heroes. Obviously, we're on the same level because he didn't beat me, right? So now we're friends. We're cool. I got to celebrate his birthday. He liked it. This is great. But as we've talked about, the best version of Adam Cole is a heel. Fuck this babyface shit. He is a heel. Before his injuries, remember, he turned on the Young Bucks. You know what I mean? Like, he is a heel. So I want MJF to be like, this is the best. This is like almost
falling in love.
I would get them to the finale, like to the tag team title shot. Like they win the tournament, get the tag team title shot. And then Adam Cole's like, you're dead
against
weight.
Everybody. Like, they're like, Adam, you know this guy. And he'd be like, no, he's just misunderstood, guys. Right? Like, almost like he's got the battered, abused, right? Syndrome going on. Yeah.
But I would have Adam Cole be like, you're dead weight, MJF, and I still want to be champ. Super kicks him, whoever the champs are, FTR, retain their championship. And then, as MJF has said, he's the devil. This is scorched earth. Everyone is getting eviscerated. Worse than the CM Punk beating that made him bloody in the white t-shirt. This is, I'm finding Kyle Riley.
We have a moment of sympathy, but he turns it into like, no, I will fucking kill everybody involved so nobody remembers the shame.
And this is what I would do. If you really wanted to get serious with it, first thing I'm doing, he takes out Roderick Strong. Fine, right? That's fine. He's fair game. Then I would go find Kyle Riley, take him out before he can even get back cleared from wrestling. Obviously, in real life, he's cleared, but in storyline, he's not cleared yet. Takes him out again. Then I'd have him find Britt Baker and fucking torture her with the Outcast, not him himself. Right.
Yeah.
But like just kind of Chris Jericho, but turned up a notch. And he's just like, you made him this way, Britt. Like he blames Britt Baker for the Adam Cole I knew would never have done this. You are responsible.
You did this. Yeah.
All of the friends around Adam Cole.
Whatever weird dental drugs you put into him.
Yeah. All of you guys kept saying for him to not trust me, he could have trusted me. That's where it is. That's the angle is he's a bad guy, but he
listened to everybody else instead of listening to me. Yeah.
And then he's just scorched earth everything.
Great.
And then make Adam Cole fucking suffer. Just make him suffer.
Everybody Adam Cole loves falls to the wayside.
And then in the match, I would even almost make it one-way traffic. And MJF is like, motherfucker, you have brought out the true devil in me and you're dead, right? And everyone else in this company's dead.
You'd even have MJF, like when it finally crescendos and now we get Adam Cole MJF, that as MJF is ready to like give him the fucking to the throat, that he breaks down and can't do it, right? Like, why did you make me do this, right? Like, yes. I would just have him scorched earth him. Now, as Jeffrey Sill says, MJF is going to screw Adam Cole. That could easily happen. Most likely outcome,
but that's the most boring of the two outcomes, in my opinion.
Where if you hired us, Tony, we could get you this idea. Yeah.
Come on. All right. So then after all that fun stuff, Renee's backstage with Britt Baker. She says, I missed out last week, but Ruby Soho, I got this championship from beating your ass. So I don't care what you say. I'm going to beat you again tonight, bitch. Cool.
Pulled that out of storage, did you?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And then as mentioned, Renee asked Jericho about the maybe. And then Garcia and Guevara's like, what the fuck? And he's like, get some feet of your own and fucking do this shit by yourselves. Hoes.
Said maybe, bitches.
Yeah.
Chris Jericho.
And then Tim, God damn it, get ready.
Oh.
It's about that time. Yeah. Hold on.
Yep.
Actually, you know what?
So it's not the main event, right? It's right before the main event?
It's right before the main event, Tim. So you know what that means. Yep, you know what that means.
I do.
It's
time for the women.
That is what we have. And it is the women Owen Hart tournament final match. And it's Ruby Soho versus Britt Baker. and they protect Britt Baker here. We get a lot of shenanigans from Toni Storm and Saraya. Ruby Soho does some crazy shit. Eventually, there's a title shot to the head of Britt Baker, and then Ruby Soho ends up with the victory roll and grabs Toni Storm for leverage. 1, 2, 3. Ruby Soho advances.
I was a bit surprised by this, if I'm being honest.
And so next week, we're going to get Ruby Soho versus the winner of this tournament, Sky Blue. What do you think about that?
Oh, you think Sky Blue is going to win? Yeah, that makes sense.
1,000,000%.
That makes sense. They're going to push her as like the new hot thing. Yep.
Yeah.
Book it. Sky Blue.
Sky Blue.
And that makes sense. So then, yeah, you get Ruby. The character of Britt Baker can take the loss to Ruby Soho, who's kind of in the big group right now, right? Is booked all tough and mean, and they cheated.
Mm-hmm.
And then, then she can also absorb the loss from Sky Blue because she's number 2 or 3 in a faction right now. Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
And so then at the top of the ramp, Sky Blue and Ruby Soho, I guess, just stare at each other because why the fuck?
Yes, you snuck up on her just to stare at her.
Baby faces, especially the women in AEW, are dumb as fuck.
Yeah,
like,
did you just put yourself in harm's way? Like, if you weren't swinging, you went up on a person who doesn't have morals, as we're led to believe here, and we're like,
and friends,
and we're like, what's up? Yeah, and friends, and we're like, what's up? Yeah, they've been beating bitches up and spray painting them.
Yeah, but you're gonna just walk out there.
You're just like, let me put my chin right in your face.
Yeah, that's where if you're gonna do that spot, like this is where we need to be better. And again, Tony, hire us. If you're going to do that spot, if you're like, we want the stare down, what you do is Sky Blue is forcing her way through security to get to Ruby Soho. Security's doing the whole, hey. Then you have security like grabbing at their waist or, pulling them apart, but you're still getting the face of, well, I'm going to fucking kick your ass. Like you still get the face off, but it's pandemonium around them. Right? Because I'm going to kick that girl's ass. Well, bitch, you ain't beating me up. I'm going to beat you up. Right? And then, but if you just have them go, hey, and fade to black, that's dumb as shit.
It is dumb as shit.
So that was that. That was our women's time because we didn't get a second women's match as we never do. And we didn't get any other women's segments because why the fuck would we do that when we could do a boring ass Acclaim match? Anyhow, then we get, that's what I'm saying. Could you not have put Chris Statlander and the TBS champion right there instead of the Acclaim just doing yuck time?
Yeah, could have.
Anyhow, so then we get to our main event and it is Wheeler Yuta and it is Kenny Omega. First time since the pay-per-view where some people said he had the best match ever. And to those people, I would say, you are wrong. So
yeah,
it was good. It was good.
Yeah. No, and here we go again with Wheeler Yuta getting a big spot, right? We are all in on getting Wheeler Yuta a big time spotlight, and he does well in these moments, right? Like every time I'm like, Wheeler Yuta held his own.
And as a storyline perspective, Yuta is the one who pinned Kenny Omega at Double or Nothing, I believe it was. So yeah.
I think all this fits. Yeah.
All of this fits for Yuta. And man, we get a good match here. Just like you said, put Yuta in that spot, he'll come through. Can he cut a promo? I don't know, maybe edit it, but he can do this really well. And so we're getting near fall, suplexes. Here's another move. And then that motherfucking Don Callis comes out, which again, let's take logic again. So security holds back Don Callis from walking down to the ring, but no one on the security team thought to fucking separate Sky Blue and Ruby Soho.
Right. Yeah. We couldn't let Don Callis walk down to the ring. Can't even get close to the ring, but we'll let Sky Blue touch boobs with Ruby Soho.
Which the fuck are we doing here?
Right.
But that is all to distract the referee and the crowd because then Takeshita, the man in black, comes out and he says, Blue Thunder Bomb, motherfucker.
Blue Thunder Bomb.
That's a cool fucking move. I will say that.
Mm-hmm.
When Sami Zayn hits that all the fucking I'm like, I have WWE 2K23. I don't even do the haluva kick with them. I just do the Blue Thunder Bomb because I like that one way more. I'm like,
it's way cooler.
Boom.
Yeah.
Way cooler. Anyhow. But
just why is it blue?
Why not?
Yeah.
It's Blue Thunder. Yeah.
WCW Thunder was blue, so
yeah.
Right.
Duh.
Yeah.
Tim. God, in wrestling, all Thunder's blue. There you go. But you would think with the Blue Thunder Bomb
Thunder
being
Rosa.
She's blue.
Well, I don't.
What?
Says.
She cusses a lot. She works blue.
I see what you're saying. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Different context. All right.
Yeah. It always works out in my favor. And so then Yuta pins him, but then Kenny Omega kicks out, which fuck your Blue Thunder Bomb if it can't end a match after 15 minutes of the guy wrestling. And then Yuta says, I'm gonna get up top, but then Omega says, you're a fucking small dick prick.
A bitch.
Yeah, you do it, missionary. Give a fucking boom one winged angel for your ass. And I win. I'm Kenny Omega. What'd you think of the match?
Wheeler Yuta does look like his favorite sexual position is missionary.
What did you say his real name is? Isn't it something even more generic than Wheeler Yuta?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah. Did I say that? Did I look that up?
Hold on. I'm gonna
we're going to fact check that a little bit. Yeah, man, I thought this was good. Again, I just felt like if it still feels like it's stalling in the overall storyline. What is it again?
It's Paul Gruber.
Yeah, Paul Gruber. Yeah.
Sounds like a mall cop.
Like, I get why you changed it, but you chose Wheeler Yuta. It's a weird name. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Anyhow, go ahead. Good. So say what you're saying. I'm sorry.
I just think this is still just kind of an overall stall from the overall storyline, right? Like, I mean, we got some movement here, but nothing too crazy, right? Like, I mean, Takeshita wasn't a big, bomb on the storyline or anything that's already been going on, right? So, you get some of that, right? We've got to tell this point of the story, we got to traverse to the next one. So that's kind of feels like where we're at with this.
Yeah, honestly, I thought the most interesting part of the night here for this story took place after the match. So Claudio immediately comes out and he's like, beating you up, Kenny. Bop, bop, bop. So then that brings out, because Takeshita is also beating up Kenny. So it's 3-on-1. So then that brings out with chairs, the Young Bucks and Hangman Adam Page. They take all of them out. Then
Hangman's
the Young
got
Bucks,
a stall. Hangman was taking his sweet time.
Yeah. If they could have done a take two, they probably would have.
Oh, yeah.
But
right.
The Young Bucks hit Claudio with their knees to the face, that BTE trigger. Bow. And then we've got Hangman going to hit Claudio in the head with the chair.
Eventually, yeah.
And then here comes the Dork Order. And they swing in there and say, nope, your chair is not going to be used here. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I again feel like we were supposed to get a little bit more before time ran out. So maybe if you were live, you probably saw a little bit more of the fallout from this. But yeah, I do, again, appreciate this storyline that we're going here with this sort of, the Dork Order has finally taken enough offense to stand up for themselves, even though their position is sort of the bad guy here.
If you follow Evil Uno on Twitter, Evil Uno says Evil Uno does not care if you like the Dark Order. So that is an interesting turn of events.
Ooh, Evil Uno's speaking in third person now.
Oh yeah, he always does. He's always like, Evil Uno is co-workers with Bryan Danielson or whatever the new signing person is. Yeah, he's great.
I like that.
Follow him on Threads probably because fuck Twitter. But still use hashtag tweet table until we think something else.
Whatever we're gonna use on Threads. Start making suggestions. Hashtag day sex.
Yeah, whatever it is, it's probably not that because that'd be weird. But you know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to tell my in-laws, hey, so we got this.
That's what I said. Yeah, I'm gonna have to sift through enough videos that it's gonna be fun, but it won't be worth it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'll never get finished. Right?
Yeah. So, I don't know, because then the Dark Order being so, I guess, easily influenced, does Don Callis then just go, hey guys, they all hate you, just join me.
Yeah,
I've always
Takesha's already wearing black.
Yeah, we already are
We
cool.
can add some
Like, come on.
purple.
And then we're gonna get Jericho. Like, don't you guys love Jericho? You guys love Jericho. And then do we got the Dork Order joining Don
Dork
Callis?
Order Appreciation Society
Yeah, of Don Callis.
of Don Callis.
I don't know. But that was it. So that was what we had for the night. What did you all think? Let's go through some of these comments here. Let's see here. Jeffrey Sills says Athena is winning the tournament and hits the famous Owen Hart promo.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Sills, I'm going to give you a fun fact here.
You're wrong.
It's not famous if no one knows it.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was like, what? Owen Hart?
What the fuck are we talking about here? And I know Athena pretty well.
Yeah.
I've followed her career since back in the Texas days with Booker T. He says, I'm assuming the main event was the match of the night.
Yeah, it was a good match.
I would still, because of entertainment value, give it to
Opener.
Magic Meat.
Oh.
No, Magic Meat versus MJF and Adam Cole.
Magic Meat.
When you can get a chant of "do it" for a simple grab the hand thing. I mean, come on. This is, again, the entertainment value. If I'm going to show someone who doesn't know wrestling, no offense to this match, it was very good.
Yeah.
But I'm going to show them that match
before I'm going to
show them.
Right.
Yeah. Before I show them Yuta and Omega. And again, I love Omega. I think he's great. But that was my match of the night.
Yeah.
So
all right.
What else we got? Anything here? We got Mass Maulers gonna check back in with us. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. We got a live chat question of the day. Ooh, is that what we're gonna call it? Let's do that. We got the live chat question of the day to wrap us up here. Tim and Tom.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
What is your favorite wrestling match ever? Mine is probably Macho Man versus Ricky Steamboat. That is from the Masked Mauler. Tim, you need a second to think about this?
I mean, what comes to mind at the moment that makes me smile the most is the Stadium Stampede, because we've been talking about it lately with Fight Forever. So if I was going to, like, right now shut off this podcast and go watch a wrestling match of anything right now, I would say the Stadium Stampede.
That's a great one. A lot of AEW matches come to mind. I'm just going to give you some OLIs, outside looking in, right? But I am going to give you my favorite one, and it's going to shock you because it's probably no one else's, and that's okay. Some OLIs.
Jeff Jarrett.
No, fuck no. Some OLIs. The pre-show match with Eddie Kingston and Tomorrow Ishii.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? Because that was when Walter or Gunther and Sheamus were doing their physical match, and then Eddie and Ishii was like, fuck you, look at this shit. And it was insane.
Yeah.
Also, Acclaimed versus Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. That was the start of the Scissor Me Daddy.
Mm-hmm.
I also saw the 30-minute Iron Man match between Pac and Kenny Omega.
Yeah, that was good.
Vikingo versus Kenny Omega we saw in person. That was insane. The Stadium Stampede, another great one. Also, man, All Out, for everyone talking about Brawl Out, had some amazing matches. Another really good match was the inaugural champion of the trios when it was the Elite beating Hangman and the Dark Order. That was very good as well. Man, you got Kurt Angle, Shawn Michaels. You got so many. But my favorite match,
Alicia Fox.
Obviously, strong contender. I'm gonna surprise everyone.
Justin Flores says any match with Jeff Jarrett.
Waited for him to just join just to say that bullshit, Justin.
Yeah. Did he miss? Did he miss that? Did he join?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. But here's what I'll say. This is my favorite match for circumstances outside of the match itself. It was a time in my life that was very influential. I was doing fun things. I was kind of being a young adult. So it was WrestleMania 19. And it was Hulk Hogan versus Vince McMahon in a street fight. The blood from Vince McMahon.
That was right.
Yeah. This is the blood. This is when you have the fucking visual of Vince McMahon coming from underneath the ring, above the ring. You had You had
Yeah,
I mean, these old guys fucking,
yes.
You had these guys. There was a leg drop off of a ladder through a announce table. You had Roddy Piper hit both of these motherfuckers with steel pipes. I mean, you had Hogan's career on the line, which back in the IWC days, then it was rumored that Hogan might be leaving for TNA. So you thought maybe he could leave, right? Especially losing to Vince wouldn't have, but yeah, it was the drama. I was at Hooters. I was 17. I was just having the time of my life. There were people there for Vince. I was obviously all decked out in Hogan stuff. We're yelling at each other. I wrote a paper about this in one of my college English classes. I got
about your time watching wrestling at Hooters.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Oh my God. It was so much fun. It's something I still
see why we're
about
friends.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. So yeah, my favorite, me in my heart.
Yeah.
This heart right here. It is WrestleMania 19.
Yeah, this cold, shriveled black heart right here.
Yeah. This one that hates all you wrestling fans.
Right.
It is Hogan versus Vince McMahon at WrestleMania 19. There you go.
All right. Join us live and ask questions like the Mass Mauler did here, or use hashtag tweet the table, or join us on Threads at Spanish Announce Podcast, and we're going to come up with a new hashtag or something of the like over there, maybe, if we transition out of Twitter, if wrestling Twitter moves to wrestling Threads. But yeah, just stick around, subscribe to us for free at SpanishAnnounceTable.net, and get all of the content daily. You get all the access and all that stuff, and we're gonna leave you until next week, because in the interim, we're gonna go have some day sex.
The Spanish Announce Table.